One of the cool things about their software, which I absolutely love, is that it's Mac compatible, which is the best in my world. They realize that there's more than one style computer out there, and well, we don't all use Windows. Go to the website, download the app, make an account, log into it. There's a reason why you do that. It makes it easier if you ever do have a problem. They have everything you've ever done on file and can look at what you did. Launch the software. Flash by vehicle. This is a 2012 Toyota Tundra. With factory navigation and JBL, no. With factory navigation without JBL, no. With JBL, without JBL. And then you can go over the steering wheel and see if this matches. In this case, it does. We have phone, we have that, we have the push to talk over here. In some cases, they'll have 3 and 4 different steering wheels. Just check them all out. Find the one that matches you. Go to the radio brand you have. Type in your model number, DMX908. S, and then they're going to ask you for the serial number. This is a very important step. The serial number has to match the radio. It can be in 3 places. If it's a brand new radio, it's going to be located here on the box. It can also be located on the top of the radio. It can also be located in the firmware section of the radio. The reason why I say that one is sometimes if you get a radio back from repair, they may have done a core exchange inside of the radio, and the serial number no longer matches this, which means it will no longer match your RR, which means you have to go back in and reflash the RR to match the corresponding serial number. So you'd have to go into that feature on the radio and get it. The radio will power up so you can get to that information. It's just all the other features will not work. Enter that in. It tells you what the current firmware is. It asks you which harness you're going to use. It tells you your part number if you don't already know. You can hook a K40 radar to this unit. Then it gets to select how you want to configure your system. We don't have a camera. We do not have a factory amplifier. We are going to be using steering wheel controls. It's telling us there is no USB media player. Advanced camera features, if we were going to add a camera, we would want those. And then vehicle information and gauges, of course. Select continue. Now, if you're flashing this for a radio that is not compatible with RR, you can still flash it and you can still do that. It'll still give you steering wheel controls and all those fun things. It just won't give you the stuff that the radio is going to talk to you about because it's not possible. It's not going data to data. But you can still use it as a smart harness. Follow that up with steering wheel configuration. Steering wheel configuration, this is one of my favorite because it gives us that picture of the steering wheel control. The one thing I always shut off is on volume down. It's always mute, and that's fine, but I like to switch it to none because when people get in there and they start pressing or holding or whatever, they want it to go down and it's muting, and that drives people crazy. Push to talk is programmed. Select continue. This is the last page. This is telling you all the things that you've done. It gives you a recap of everything you've done. Select flash. Once the unit has flash, it's going to pop up the next screen, which is going to allow us to go and select the car's installation sheet. It is available right here. Tap the green arrow. Scroll down to the Toyota Tundra. With JBL. Without JBL. So in this case we just have 2 choices, with and without JBL. So it's gonna go over basic information about the unit and it's gonna get us to this page right here. This is the page we want. This is telling us everything we need to know about it. We can see that the OBD2 is plugged in right here. That means we're gonna have to run this guy, and then it's telling us the harnesses we don't need, and it's telling us that one connector that I plugged into the truck right there. These 2 black lines here on the right are the smart wire and the aux to 3-pin. It's telling us we need both of them. We'll use them both. And that's it. I like to save this just up in the background or drag it to my desktop so I can look at it periodically in case I forget or I get sidetracked or something like that. You can unplug it. You don't have to do anything special, hit anything. It's not going to blow the unit up or do bad things. Even though the harness is super cool and easy to plug and play, there are a couple things I like to do to modify the harness to better serve my needs. And that is, first off, I like to add in this guy here. This is a pigtail that comes off of the harness that adds in an accessory, a constant 12 volts, a ground, and a remote turn on. You never know what they might add at some point down the road, a DSP, a dash cam, backup camera, who knows. But having these now already ready set, I don't have to tie back into this for any reason. For this installation, we're going to be using the radio to power the rear speakers, but we're going to be using an amplifier to power the front speakers. So I've separated those speaker wires from this harness and they're sitting over here ready for my mid-range to get connected up to those. Everything else, I just like to tape up so we have this fully non-rainbow looking harness, so it looks very factory. I also zip tie my data wires into the harness itself so that I have a nice solid wrapped up harness that can go into the car and also tuck in to the dash nice and easy. I like this new look that iData is doing in their harnesses. I just want to put a little bit more tape on it, that's all.